back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm Tina, and this is Hanging with Frugal Tina. Welcome back, everybody. So, the other day, Trey said, hey, Grandma, can you make me this particular meal? And I was like, what is it? What particular meal? Sure I can. He doesn't ask for anything, so he's a good kid. So if he asks, I usually try to provide. I said, well, what do you want? He said, all I want is pork chop dinner. For him, that means he wanted breaded pork chops, he wanted mashed potatoes, and usually it means he wants green beans with butter, but what we call butter, and some garlic. So, not a problem. Well, I bought a big pack because they were on sale, and it cost me like $6 and change for this big pack. So I cooked them up, and lo and behold, when we're done, I have 4 or 5 pork chops. I think it was 5. I'm not positive how many are in there. So what I'm going to do today is, because I had this, that's a lot of pork chops, 5 decent sized pork chops with the bone in them. So I got to thinking, well, what can I do with the pork chops other than serving pork chops 2 nights in a row, and not a stir fry, because everything goes in a stir fry. Everything, it's been done, right? So I racked my brain, and I came up with a winner. So what we're going to do, I'm going to call this video Cook It Once, Use It Twice, because basically what I'm using is stuff I already have in my house, so it's 0 extra cost. All right? So without further ado, let's get it. Let's go. Let's heat up those pots. Come on. All right, here you go. This is everything you're gonna need. Now, I'll leave the recipe for to serve 4, but I'm gonna do something a little bit bigger. So, and I'm also doing dairy and dairy-free. That's why with Eric, you'll see a lot of the diet cheeses on the back left. I'm not using all of those different cheeses. It's just one or some or all can be added to what I'm making. So, but he's got like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's Italian, Colby Jack, mozzarella, and some cheddar. You can make this with rice, pasta, or potatoes. I have been eating a lot of potatoes lately, so I decided to go with the rice. And then I found out I didn't have enough rice, so I add a little bit of the brown rice on top. You don't have to do that. It was just me trying to get what I needed. So let's go over everything we're going to need. You're going to need some cheese. I have some mozzarella and a tiny bit of the Colby and Monterey Jack in the back. I haven't decided if I'm going to do a breading on the top, so I took that out. You need some salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, cream of soup, and some parsley or dried thyme or something like that for the top. You need an onion. These are extremely small. That's why there's 2 out there. You need some milk. You can use milk, heavy whipping cream, half and half, whatever you have, and some pork chops. For Eric, I can't use this cream of soup, so real quick, it's kind of like getting thicker at this point while we sit, I whipped up a batch for him real quick. I'll attach the cream of everything video I have if you need to make it at home. I made it from bouillon and some flour and butter and a little bit of his milk. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make that rice. I'm going to make the rice. By the way, it's instant rice that I have there. You can use long grain rice. Just make it per the packaging instruction. The only thing I'm going to do differently is I'm going to add a little bit of, which I don't have out here, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken bouillon to the water to give the rice a little extra flavor. All right, to this pot, I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. And I'm just going to bring that to a boil and add the rice and cover it up. All right, meanwhile, while the water is boiling, we're going to get to chopping this up. Also, this recipe is so easy to make it your own. You could also use cream of mushroom. I don't have any mushrooms and I can't make cream of mushroom for Eric at the moment, so we're going with the creamy chicken, but you could also use cream of mushroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. This has a bone in it. I'm going to cut this down to bite-sized pieces. Trying to find out where the bone is. These were so good when I made them. These are just regular old breaded pork chops. Trey requested them one night, so I made them for him. So what you're going to do is just cut them down into, these are still cold too, so they're cutting a little hard, bite-sized pieces. How big or however small you want. Alrighty. Just finish it up. I got everything but that pile of bones. I cut them up a little bit smaller than what I started because I jokingly say Eric's too lazy to chew. That's why he doesn't like meat. So I cut some smaller. Small bite size. All right. The rice is done. We're ready to assemble. Nearly forgot. We got to cut the onion. So you could dice it up. However, I don't know what's going on with my knife. However big, however small you want. We're just going to saute them. So, just dice it up. Since it's a small onion, I'm just going to do it like this. Just like that. They're gonna cook, and they're gonna cook down anyway. So, alrighty. So we're gonna saute these onions down. I used half of that teeny tiny one because I think I got enough onions there. The whole other one and half of that little one. Let's move over to the stove. All right, so I got a plop of what we call butter. Everybody who's been here a while knows what it is, and the people who have not, it's country crock vegetable spread. And we're just going to saute the onions, and then we're going to assemble. Almost forgot about the onions. All right. The only thing I'm going to add to the onions when they get done is a little salt and pepper. Oops. Turn that down a little bit, and then we're just going to saute these down. Oh, I see a piece of skin somewhere. Got it. All right, so we're just going to saute that down. Alrighty. Just sauteed them a little bit. They're starting to brown. And I did this on like low, like a 2 on my gas. I think it's a 2. Oh no, it's a 3 on my gas range. All right, let's get over to the stove and start, not the stove. Let's get over to the counter. I think I needed more rice, and luckily my grandson was on his way home, grabbed a little bit more rice for me, and I made some extra. I was thinking I should probably have used some egg noodles, but we're going to use the rice. Nearly forgot, some salt and pepper. I already started to add a little bit of salt to it, so I want to add a little bit more. And some pepper to this. Now, the reason before I had out the onion powder and the garlic powder, that was to spice up the rice. But since I decided to use the bouillon, I may not add that in there. But these have just sat here and they browned up just from the residual heat. I turned it off. All right, you know that video I made a little bit ago about where I forgot my purse at home, and then I went in and bought stuff from changing my car, and then I left the tomato at the store? I'm having that day. I left it at the store. I made some cream of soup for Eric, and I was going to use canned for us, and everything was fine until I realized they were all 3 years expired. So I had to make more cream of soup. Thereby, it's a little bit on the thinner side. I whipped it up real quick. It's still piping hot. So we're going to go with that. Okay? And I have a little bit more in the frying pan just in case. So what you're going to do, if you had a can of cream of soup or something, you'd add a half a cup of milk, heavy whipping cream, half and half, whatever you got. I have some plant-based heavy whipping cream. That's half a cup. And we're just going to add that in. And we're going to make this creamy. I might need to add a little bit more because that's way more than a can. But it's a little on the thin side, so I don't want to make it too thin. So I think we're just going to go with that 1/2 cup. Yeah, that's, well, it's thickening up. That's usually what it does. No, I think I can go with the whole cup. And I'll link how to make this cream of, because I made a video on how to make cream of anything. I'll link that video at the end so you guys could do this too if you need to. It only takes a couple of minutes. All right. I added just under another 1/2 cup of the milk. Got to talking and forgot. All right, now I'm going to spray my dish. All right, so I took some of the cream of soup out and put it in here because I don't know how much of that cream of soup I'm going to use, but I want all of my onions. So I'm going to add my onions to that little bowl. If you're using the canned cream of soup, you will season your cream of soup with some onion powder, garlic powder, parsley, or thyme, or both, depending on how you like it. But I'm going to do this. I know I need more than this, but I don't know how much more. I might use it all, I might not. But at least this way, the onions are in there. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our porky chops and put them down in here like that. Do I need all those pork chops? I don't know. I've decided against the bread topping just because there's breading, there's rice, there's this, there's that. I feel like it's just overkill. Let me zoom you out a little bit. So we're going to spread this around to all of the chops. Give everybody some love. Best we can. I probably could have made this a little bit thinner, but I'm getting tired. I started making this easy thing and I ran into so many problems. All right. All right, let me smear that around a little bit. I'll add a little bit more milk to the other. At least this way I know all the onions got on there. Oh, there's my oven preheated. All right, let me get a little bit more. All right, gonna pour some. This one's a little bit thinner than the other. I add a little bit more milk to it. Or not milk, the plant-based stuff I have. All right, let me just smear her around and we'll put the next layer on and she goes in the oven. All right, there's Eric's. We're going to add a little bit of cheese to his and then to ours. For Eric's, I'm going to use not a lot because his cheese has a strong flavor to it. That's a little bit of the mozzarella. I'm going to add a little bit of the Italian blend. That's his absolute 100% favorite. He loves it. And then we're going to add a little bit of his Colby Jack. That's new to him. And I'm going to add parsley for color because I'm not adding the breadcrumbs. But you can. Gives it a little crunch. All right, I'm going to put that covered in a 350 oven for about 20-25. But let's get to ours first. Ooh, let's get heavy. All I have is some mozzarella and a tiny bit of the Colby Jack. 8 and 8 all my cheddar. So we're just going to put a sprinkle down on top. Just putting like little pinches. Okay. And then I'm going to put whatever little shimmy shake I have at the bottom. Try to get a little of the yellow around. Okay, here's my last little handful. And I'm going to do the same thing with that I did with Eric's. Put a little shaky do on there of the parsley for color. So I'm going to put some foil on it. Make sure when you do things like this with cheese that you spray the underside of your foil so it doesn't stick to the cheese. All right, there you go. Gotta foil her up, put her in the oven. All righty, here comes Eric's. Ugh. Ooh, that's bubbly. Look at that. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I took the foil off the last like 5 minutes. I didn't want it brown. I just wanted it melted. Oh boy, is this thing heavy, and it's hot. Woo. Look at that. Looky, looky, looky. All right. I got some carrots on the side, and we're going to plate it up, and I'll meet you at the plate. Let's take a quick look close up. Look at that. I can't wait to dig in. And there's my plate. I know it doesn't look pretty, but I know it's going to taste good, so I'm going to meet you at the table.
If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video.
We're at the table. It looks good. So just take a little piece of the meat and cheese and the rice. Ooh. It's still burning hot, but the cheese is still there. Oh boy. Hold on. Try to get some of the wet in the bottom. What the heck? Can't get it. Drop me some meat? Yeah, I do. I can't see without my glasses. All right, you ready? I'm just gonna take a little taste. Wait. Let me make sure it's not too hot. Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. Let's go. That's pretty good. Like that pork chop in there? All right. I made carrots. I didn't show, but I usually use a little bit of syrup, some brown sugar, and cinnamon that kind of taste like yams. I make them all the time, right? So let's just see how they taste. If it pairs well with them. You ready? Oh yeah. Tastes like yams. All right. Let me get everybody else fed, and we'll see what they think about it. Bye-bye. Dinner's over. How do we do? Boom. Eric nearly polished his off, and we didn't finish, but Trey and Tyler haven't eaten yet, so we did a pretty good job on that. So let me see who's here, what they thought about it. So Eric, what did you think about that whipped up casserole dish?
I think it was really good. I like the pork chops. I put some hot sauce on it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, the hot sauce is on there, yeah. Aiden?
I really loved it. It was amazing.
Yep, had several helpings. Joe?
I never had anything like this. It's pretty good. I put some Crystal's hot sauce on it only because I wanted to follow Eric's lead. He's the gourmet of the hot sauce. But it tastes very well. Very nice, very good.
All right, thank you.
You actually made a whole meal out of leftover pork chops. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was the whole point of it. Hey, at least somebody got it. All right, I'll find out what Tyler and Trey think about it when they get here, and I will let you know. Me, I liked it. It could have been a little bit more like thinner in the gravy, but that, I had to whip out some homemade real quick. So, but other than that, the flavor was there, the taste was there. It was pretty good, and it was just from what I had in my refrigerator. So there you have it. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment either way. See you later. Bye.